Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Breaking news today, the New England Patriots have released Cam Newton, something that I don't think really anybody saw coming. So this is big news, so today we're going to be reacting to that. Before we get into the video, question of the day, where do you guys think Cam Newton will end up? We both think he's worthy of being signed somewhere else, so comment below what you think about where he could go, and at the end of the video you'll hear our opinion. But Jay, did any part of you see this coming?
I did not. To me, I thought, the odds are leaning towards Cam Newton starting in the game. At worst, I thought it was 50-50. At very bottom worst, I thought it might be leaning towards Mac Jones, 60%, Cam Newton being back up 40%, but I never even considered them releasing Cam Newton. I figured they just want his different style of play, his knowledge. They just expected more out of Cam Newton this year than last year. He did, I don't want to say a good job or a bad job, but given the circumstances last year, having COVID, brand new system, being in a tough division, just not having a lot of their defensive starters playing, either they're hurt or sitting out, and they still went 7-9, beat a playoff team like the Ravens, hung with the Cardinals in a weird upset, and going into year two, I thought Cam Newton, I don't want to say he was going to hit that next level, but bring value to the team, whether it be on the bench now that he knows the playbook after a year and helping out Mac Jones, or actually bringing it into fruition on the field. I just did not see him not playing as New England Patriot, at least on the depth chart somewhere. But this does show at least Mac Jones is a guy. They have confidence in him. I don't want to say he's the next Tom Brady, but Bill Belichick is one of the best coaches of all time, if not the best coaches of all time, so I'm going to take his word for it. He sees something in him to just release Cam. Maybe we'll find out more word later of what really happened, if there was a reason why, if he got an argument, or he just wasn't following protocol, it wasn't the Patriot way, whatever it is. It's a mystery right now, but I am excited to see how Mac Jones does now with the new role.
Yeah, I was really shocked when I saw this news. Like you said, by no means did Cam Newton have a great season last year, but he still managed to win go 7-9 in a tough division. So I believed that he deserved to be at least the week one starter this year. I think obviously Cam Newton's played in Super Bowl. He's won MVP. He's shown in the past that he can be a great NFL quarterback. So I thought that one bad season mixed in with having COVID on a new team would not end up in him being cut before the next season. So I definitely thought that this season we'd see Cam starting and Mac Jones right there on the bench ready to come in if things go south, because Mac Jones has had a pretty good preseason. So I'm not totally surprised that Mac Jones is being looked at as a starter now, but I'm totally surprised that they're going to be willing to cut Cam Newton and get him completely out of the picture, especially since, at least coming, if you go back a couple months to combine time or workout, whatever, there was no combine, but Mac Jones showed some weaknesses. I mean, he was not super athletic. I mean, there was a lot of arguments against the fact that in college he looked so good because of how good his team was. So there's plenty of doubts around Mac Jones. I think he would have made a great backup, but I'm just not thrilled for them to have cut Cam Newton, who I would prefer to have seen as the starter.
Yeah, and I still think Cam's going to find a job somewhere. You can't tell me he's not worthy of being a second string, even though clearly he's not anymore. But I've said it before, I think you've agreed with me, Mac Jones is probably in the best system out of all the rookie quarterbacks. Yeah. Given the circumstances, you could argue Trey Lance, but he's also in the toughest competition. Jimmy G's probably the toughest starter. These other guys got to outbeat Andy Dalton, Cam Newton, for example, and then Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. Those guys are the starters, but not in playoff teams, not in proven systems. Mac Jones, he's set up for the most success right now, except for possibly Trey Lance. I think he's going to do well. I'm excited to see the week one matchup, but if I'm not mistaken, I do believe they play the Dolphins. It'd be cool to see the two Alabama guys, Tua and Mac Jones, go head-to-head in a division rival. I'm excited to see that. It's probably going to be a tight defensive matchup because neither of these guys are gunslingers by any means. They both rely on their decision to work on film behind the scenes and their precision on the football field are just pure accuracy. They don't have the biggest arm, the strongest arm, the fastest legs, the greatest quarterback vision. They just rely on their work ethic and the system around them. I'm not saying they're just held up by their team, but they're not carrying their team by any means either. I'm excited to see that week one matchup. I think Mac Jones has some success, and I'm not going to say he's going to be the next Tom Brady going to win the Super Bowl, but I could definitely see the Patriots sneak in with a playoff spot.
Yeah, if there was one team that a guy like Mac Jones could, I say a guy like Mac Jones because compared to other rookie quarterbacks like Trey Lance or Justin Fields, he's just a lot less mobile. Even Trevor Lawrence is a very mobile quarterback compared to Mac Jones. So that's what I mean when I say a guy like him. But if there was one system in the league where Mac Jones could succeed, it's in New England with Bill Belichick. So I definitely wouldn't count the Patriots out at all. And like I said, I don't want to make any comparisons to Tom Brady, but there really are some similarities. The number one being that Mac Jones is really not going to be an athletic, mobile guy. But if he's smart, if he has good football IQ, and of course Bill Belichick can work with him, then who knows what we could see out of this guy.
Yeah, now I'm really thinking, is Cam Newton officially a backup of the league? Can he find a starting job? I think the only way is if you find another system, another team where you can just possibly outbeat the starting guy who's just going through struggles. Maybe a Daniel Jones in New York. I want to say a Denver, but I just think I don't know if they want 3 crowded quarterbacks. Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock, Cam Newton.
Teddy and Drew Lock have already been neck and neck this preseason.
Yeah, I don't. To me, there's not so many options. Maybe a contingency plan of Indianapolis. If Carson Wentz goes down, Cam Newton could be a guy that could bring you some faith. I'd say the Eagles behind Hurts if they didn't trade for Gardner Minshew. But that's always a weird room. I'd like the Colts, honestly. I'd like New York, honestly. But I think New York wants to give Daniel Jones a shot. And I think if Daniel Jones doesn't work out, they want to make a big swing, not a Cam Newton swing. And I think in Indianapolis, they don't want to mess with Carson Wentz's psyche. I don't know if it'll mess up his confidence if they bring in Cam Newton behind him. So there's not a whole lot of options left. Maybe if Steelers are looking to make another swing like they did, Dwayne Haskins, Cam Newton could fill that role. I still think he'll find a spot in the NFL, but his days of being a starter, he might get one tiny last chance, but MVP Cam, none of us expected to see it again, but starting Cam, I don't know if we'll see again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you that Cam Newton, it really makes sense that he's worthy of being on a team somewhere. You named a couple good options. I think that if he does find his way in Denver, he could be the starting guy, but that's going to be tough because, like I said, both of those quarterbacks there are already – the coach is having a hard time deciding who he wants to play. I mean, I guess they did decide on Teddy, didn't they?
Yeah.
But in preseason, they were neck and neck. Could end up in Houston. Not desirable for him, but if he ends up there, he could be the starter.
Yeah.
I mean –
one I'd like is possibly Dallas. It's
Yeah.
Not that Dak's the guy by far.
as a backup, though, because
But
they
yeah,
don't-
as a back, yeah, as
Yeah.
a backup. No taking over
Mhm.
Dak, but I just think that would be a pretty cool matchup.
That's
I
a
think they
good point.
both got a heart for football, and I think that'd be a good locker room between the two. If Cam Newton can bite the bullet, if he could swallow the pill of becoming a NFL backup, I don't think he can or wants to. No one wants to, but I have a fear, or I'm not that fearful, but I do think he would consider retiring over being an NFL backup.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know. I mean, but between now getting released and getting COVID last year and just really ever since he didn't win the Super Bowl in Carolina, he's really gone downhill. So who knows what kind of toll that's taken on Cam. Maybe he's going to find his way out of the league. Maybe that's what he wants to do. And if that happens, it's kind of a shame, but who knows. But overall, I mean, I'm looking forward to see what Mac Jones can do. You said this right before we started this video. Is for some reason I find myself rooting for the Patriots to do something good with what they've got, which I've never done in my life.
And we're one of the people that hated them. Not like, oh, we used to like them or we're just, neutral about them. I hated the Patriots when Tom Brady was there. And it might just because of weird matchup we like the Bucs kind of, but it's hard to root against a rookie quarterback. It's hard to hate a kid that hasn't been in the NFL, and I just like to see success out of these younger guys and some surprise picks and just any offseason buzz or moves. I'm going to root for it to happen.
For sure. That's all for our video reacting to Cam Newton being released. But Jay, back to the question today. If you had to choose one team for Cam to sign to, who do you think it would be?
New York's been in my head. I'd like to see him go to the Giants. They have a bad offensive line. They need someone that can move around. Daniel Jones doesn't have the best pocket presence. I think Cam could make some magic work in the NFC East. That's a winnable division. That would be the best shot for him possibly having one last shot or one last swing.
On a different note, not necessarily to give him the best chance of being a starter, but something that I think would be really interesting, you mentioned earlier, is Dallas Cowboys. Dak right now is not even set in stone to start week 1 because of some injuries, shoulder injuries had in preseason. So I think that would be interesting to have Dak and Cam on the same or in the same QB room. Guys, that's all for our video. Thanks for watching. 2-Minute Warning.